Welcome to a special live edition of Create a New Tomorrow. I am your host, Ari Gronich, and I have with me this amazing writer and nutritionist, Kelly Haugh. Kelly, why don't you tell the crowd, the audience, a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm a certified health and wellness coach, and I really specialize in helping people with stress and anxiety, gut health issues, and how they're all connected. Going back a little ways, what kind of sealed the deal for me was really my daughter who has autism. My daughter she just turned 14, and so it's basically been a 12 and a half, 13-year trek with her, with finding out she had leaky gut, dysbiosis, a lot of gut issues going on that were affecting her behaviorally, as well as, she just didn't feel very good.
So how did you find out that there was a connection between her emotions and how she was feeling and acting and gut health?
So when we first learned that she had the gut health issues going on along with her autism, autism was new to us at the time. We weren't familiar, but we found out kind of quickly then that really most kids with autism have a lot of gut issues. And whether it's the chicken and the egg, you never know. But so we really researched and sought out what could we do for her to help improve her health and her behavior more, than just she's kind of stuck with this.
So what were the benefits that you guys have seen based on changing diets and plans with her?
So definitely behavior. She will be, in a much better mood, as well as she sleeps better. And also she has a seizure disorder. And when we did like a modified keto diet for her and added in some supplements that were really good for gut health, once her gut was more in order, those seizures really started going down, which was great because they're terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine. What about the standard American diet? I mean, think about it. If you're talking to people who are eating that standard American diet on a regular basis, they probably don't really know what exactly about that plan and about that system is so broken. So why don't you enlighten the audience about what about that system is really broken?
Right. Okay. So I would say the first thing would be like chemical added preservatives, additives, food coloring, food dyes, neurotoxins, really basically for people. And so when we're talking that, it's, you're talking, Doritos, the nacho cheese Doritos and, pop and all of those things. And really, in my opinion, diet pop is even worse than regular pop. If you really want some pop, have a little bit of regular instead of adding in even more chemicals and additives.
Yeah, I would even go further and say find the soda, if you're going to have soda, that is either got cane sugar.
Cane sugar, yeah.
Right, and it's preferably organic.
Yeah.
Or monk fruit. There are some keto sodas, I guess, that are coming to the market,
right,
that have no sugar, but they're not the artificial sweeteners either.
Yeah, even a stevia soda, No, we want to steer away from all that. But if it's somebody who, they drink a 6-pack of Coke a day, you're going to be hard pressed to tell them you have to stop having that completely. You're going to have to kind of back them off. And like you say, then you can replace it a little bit with some of these other things.
So talk about the fact that there are no essential carbs. Because I think that people think, especially based on the food pyramid that they've been indoctrinated with, that carbs are the most important thing in your diet.
Right.
So the fact that there is no such thing as an essential carb might be an interesting fact for some people to learn about.
Yeah, for sure. Right, because if you think of the standard pyramid that we've seen for ages, right, really that thing should be tipped upside down, basically. Carbs in the form of leafy vegetables and, sweet potatoes and things like that. Those are fine and dandy. But yeah, lots of the white, all the white stuff, the refined carbs, full of gluten, and then just turns straight to sugar in your body.
Right. So I've talked a lot about gluten and the fact that gluten itself is a poison, and you may not be gluten intolerant,
right,
to the level that some people are, but everybody is gets an inflammatory response
absolutely
to gluten. So why don't we talk a little bit about gluten and what they do, grains and what they do, and why the fallacy is there that grains are so important and
right,
so on.
Right. So I love that. I did actually talk about that a little bit in my book about gluten, and it makes some people sad to even hear that, but it's really not good for anybody, right? I mean, some people are way more tolerant of it, but as it builds up in your system, it's really not good for you. It's not good for anybody, and especially because anymore, any wheat, therefore gluten you're going to get a hold of is going to be GMO. So you're going to have the glyphosate in there, you're full of pesticides, very bad for your whole digestive tract.
Right. So most people don't really understand what glyphosate is or what Roundup does to food and what it means, what genetically modified means, really. They don't understand necessarily the whole nature of what genetically modified is, right, and what the difference between hybridization, right, and genetically modified
right,
is. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So yeah, in the GMO, in the seeds themselves, they genetically modify those actual seeds. And so even though they may not have already sprayed something on it as it's grown, they haven't come back by and sprayed, it's already in there. You are not getting rid of that. It's a part of the plant. And so no amount of rinsing it is going to get rid of it. Right.
So here's my problem with grains, and this is a general issue with grains,
right,
is that let's say, take the scenario that we're taking a mineral supplement and trying to get the minerals right in our bodies.
Right.
And then we eat whole grain bread because it's marketed as healthy or healthier alternative.
Right.
Right. So those grains absorb minerals.
Right.
And then pass them through you to where you don't get to absorb the minerals because they're very spongy. If you look at a piece of bread,
yep,
look at a piece of, crumb cake, any of those kinds of things, they're kind of spongy. Cakes, breads, pastas, spongy.
Yep.
Those spongy absorbs, it's absorbent,
right?
We can all kind of get with
Sure,
that. And so if you're taking a mineral supplement while you're also eating breads and glutens and carbs and grains,
right,
you're literally flushing down all of the money that you're putting into those mineral supplements. Right. You're flushing that down the toilet.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is just one of the reasons why. Now, if you have mineral deficiencies of any kind, like iron and you're anemic, if you have insulin issues, if you have, those are all because of mineral deficiencies.
Right.
And so eating the bread doesn't necessarily equal a good, healthy response to the other things that you might be doing. It actually might harm that response, even if you're not getting a massive inflammatory response to where you recognize it. Correct? Yeah,
I agree. And especially too with if you're saying somebody who has a blood sugar issue or an insulin issue, they shouldn't be eating bread anyway. That's very counterproductive.
Right.
So, on many levels. Yeah.
Right. So, give a few recommendations on what it is that you'd like to see happen within the systems. Like if you're talking to a government employee right now, which I love talking to government employees that have control over whether they're about to be able to put more chemicals in our environment or less.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Right? So I love talking to the government officials, but let's say we're talking to some government officials right now, and we're giving them some solutions to the ills of bad health and the systems of agriculture that we're going through currently, right? What are some solutions that you would suggest?
Boy, that's a big one, isn't it?
Absolutely. I like the big question.
I know. What I don't know is if they're going to listen, and it does depend on, right, who is it? What is their lobby toward? What's their propensity? But what do I think could be done? I mean, definitely don't let anything else get added that is bad for us. Absolutely. And I don't know, because it is such a deep pocket issue, if you're going to get that reversed on the whole GMOs and the whole seeds and everything like that. That's tough. But maybe they could be touting organic foods. Maybe they could, that could even be part of, if not part of the new food pyramid. Even if it could just be, they could at least, as a public service message, talk about chemicals in the food and, eating organic or things like that. That wouldn't be that hard for them to do. But I don't know that they have a slant to do that.
Right. So I'm an idealist. So I believe that anything is possible.
Sure.
As long as enough people force it to become possible.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the things that I'm looking at being possible, for instance, let's say, is hydroponic gardens in local communities.
Absolutely.
Because you can control what is put in. You don't need the pesticides.
Right.
Because it's a controlled environment.
Yep.
You can grow it year round. You put it into farmers markets. You put it into high schools. You put it into elementary schools. And now all of a sudden you have free labor because you're teaching the kids how to grow food.
Right.
Right? So this is just one of many possible solutions. If you're in a big city, there are now skyscraper gardens.
Oh yeah, which is really exciting, right?
That can feed an entire city what it needs, because you can create, different levels with different kinds of food. So you have a lot of variety. Yeah. And it's all hydro and aeroponic. This is a solution to big cities. My favorite one, I think, my favorite one is in parks, public parks. There's land. Right? Right? Yeah. So every other tree, instead of being an oak tree or a pine tree, which really doesn't do a lot for our health, right, or for our food supply, apple tree, orange tree, figs, different trees inside a park. That's your real fast food now. Oh yeah, right? You can pick a fruit off the tree. If you're homeless, you have plenty of food to eat. Yeah, right. Could help. Doesn't solve the problem. Yeah, it doesn't solve the homeless issue, but no, it at least gives them some food. They would have some food. Yeah, right. Right. You can. I was thinking, I wanted to create a mass movement of people throwing berry seeds all over the freeways. So the sides of the freeways are covered in fruit. We're gonna end this episode because I think it's been a really great episode so far. Great, thank you. And I'd like to end it on a good note. So give the audience 3 things that's actionable, doable, easily available, ready for them, that they can do right now so that they can create a new tomorrow today for their own health and vitality. Okay, so number 1, I'd go with, if you're not taking a good pre and probiotic, do that. It can either be in the pill form, a good one, or you can go out and get you a bag of sauerkraut if you don't want to make any. Kombucha, kimchi, any of those. So in any realm of that to get your good gut bacteria going better. Number 2 would be that cutting off or down on the sugar, refined carbs, because that's going to help. Number 1, those feed the bad gut bacteria. So you're having a big feeding frenzy in there, and they squelching down the good. So those kind of go together, but they're different. So cutting out that sugar and refined carb, really important. And the other thing, it's hard to narrow it to 3, but
Stress is a huge cause of mass amounts of illness for people. So that chronic stress piece, do something to lessen your stress. Okay. So whether that's you're going to meditate even 5 minutes, you're going to just put on music you love and listen to it. You're feeling, totally stressed out. You're going to look in your environment. You're going to look around to see something pretty, see something enjoyable. What do you feel? Can you feel something that can distract you and calm you down? You want to use the senses and engage the senses to get calmed down a little bit. So those are a few, just, easy things people can do to add in that will actually make a big difference.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Kelly. And you have a new book.
I do. I have a new book out. I'm super excited about it. Mind Your Gut.
Your Gut. Let's see if we could get this to pixelate properly.
And there are many connotations to it, minding your gut.
Yes.
Yes.
Give a little bit about what this book is about and what people will get from reading it, and then how they can go about finding it and finding you if they want to learn more.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So, it's minding your gut, powering up your immune system, your stress resilience, and your mental wellness through your gut brain. So that whole gut brain piece, which is very important. I talk about the problem with chronic stress, anxiety, depression. I talk a little bit about science in the book, so people know what is it all about and why should I care. But then I make it very relatable with some stories. And it has some great actionable tips as well that people can use for
Awesome.
de-stressing. So yeah, they could go to mindyourgutbook.com to find the book itself. You can order on there if you want to. You can definitely read just a little bit more about the book and the journey and how it came to be. Or it is also available on Amazon now.
Awesome. Anywhere else that if they want to get to a hold of you, they can find you on social media?
So my website is manifestnaturalwellness.com. And I do have a Facebook group too, which is it's on the back of this. It is Stress Busters Inc. And they can get a hold of me that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, for being here. And this has been another episode of Create a New Tomorrow. We are here to create a new tomorrow today, give you the actionable steps to do that. Go check out my book as well, anewtomorrow.com, or it's createanewtomorrow.com, or you could go to Amazon and find it there. It'll give you actionable steps on how you can live your most passionate life today. So thank you so much for being here, Kelly. I really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you, in your book get more publicity, get out there more, and that way we can create much more of an impact on the world. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
We want to change the world.
Change the world.
And again, to the governors, the senators, the politicians that are hiding behind their lobbyists, we're coming for you. Do the right thing. Make the world a healthier place today.